Avistamiento ovni aquí en Lima, hoy 20 de abril del 2020. Extrañas luces en formación de círculo. Estamos aquí en la zona de Independencia, Lima Norte.
What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. I got some more videos to break down for you today. I hope you've been enjoying the videos. My editing skills are getting faster and the quality of the content is getting better. Thank you to all those who have subbed and liked my other videos. I really appreciate it. Anyways, let's get on to the sightings. This first video was shot in South America, around the area of Peru and Ecuador. There is a group of people gathered around and gazing into the sky as they see a total of 7 bright lights forming a circle. This is either a very large craft above them, watching down on them, or just 7 separate crafts. For those of you who don't know, the Peruvian Air Force last year confirmed UFO sightings around Lima. Official investigators also have stated that there are more cases under investigation. But this isn't the only time that UFOs have been reported in South America. There have been reports of UFOs in Brazil dating back to 1947, as well as in Argentina back in 1962.
Mira cómo da vuelta, mira cómo da vuelta, mira cómo da vuelta. No, el sonido, mira que no suena nada. Señoras y señores, Leonardo Arboleda acaba de cumplir el sueño de su vida. Tengo la cámara quieta, míralo cómo se mueve, míralo cómo se mueve, míralo.
Here's another recently filmed UFO sighting in South America. This was shot sometime in February late at night. I've never seen lights that look like this. It looks like a star or an octopus. The lights are acting pretty strange too. It sort of does this wiggling thing at the end of its tentacles. Here's a negative of it. For any Pokemon fans out there, doesn't it kind of remind you of a Starmie with lights?
¿Es como dando vueltas? No tengo el aquí, no, aquí.
Não dá, pra identificar muito longe. Ou é muito pequeno.
Pô, mas parou, velho. Ó, tá mexendo de novo. Olha. Sumiu, velho. Olha a velocidade disso. Você é louco, mano. Já viu a velocidade disso aí?
Olha a estrela em cima.
Olha a velocidade disso aí, mano. Isso não é drone, não. Mano, isso não é drone, velho.
Mano, você não dá muito forte.
Ou é drone? Será que é drone?
Eu acho que é drone.
É drone da polícia?
Eu acho, mano.
Será que é mesmo, velho?
É drone.
This video was taken in Brazil on March 2nd. There's a very bright light high in the sky that's traveling at an extremely high rate of speed. It's too fast to be a drone or a plane. The light suddenly turns into a very bright light as it zooms over the filmer.
Y a vuelta y todo.
This video was taken in San Jose, Costa Rica, posted last year on December 17th. It looks like there might have been some sort of collision in the middle of the highway. I'm not too sure, but why else would they be posted up right there? You can see a blackish classic saucer or diamond-shaped like object in the sky, probably no further than about 2 miles from ground level. The object is slowly flying by as multiple people are clearly watching it drift away. It's clear as day that this is not some sort of balloon or drone or military craft. What is it about the area around South America? Been sightings all over the world, but I've been seeing a lot of activity in this area more than any in 2020. One of my thoughts is that it's because South America is the closest continent to Antarctica. If I was an alien trying to hide, I would definitely be down there, because I know that no one would see me. Looking through all the cases out of South America, one really stuck out to me the most, and that is the case of Amore Rivera Toro in 1988. I'm just gonna call him Maury though. I know Puerto Rico isn't really a part of South America, but it's pretty close, so for the video, just roll with it. Maury is a man from New York that visited his grandmother in Puerto Rico when he got the news that she was really sick. After reaching Puerto Rico, his grandma recuperated really quickly and found his emergency trip turned into a vacation, so he got to explore the land that he was born in before going back home. Though he was born there, he didn't know the island that well because he moved to New York as an infant. Once Maury got home to New York, he felt that something was drawing him back to Puerto Rico. Soon he packed his bags, quit his job, sold all his belongings, and went right back to Puerto Rico. At the time in Puerto Rico, employment wasn't so great. Maury picked up a job at a local nightclub after his cousin heard about the opportunity on the radio. And the job was actually perfect for him because he was already a waiter in New York City. Maury really enjoyed the island and everything was great until the night before Mother's Day. The cousin who got Maury the job asked him for a favor. A couple nights before Mother's Day, the job was to just take photos of the band that was going to play at the club. Maury agreed and used his cousin's 110 Instamatic camera to take pictures of the band. The club closed around 4 a.m. and Maury, tired and hungry, was driving home by 4:30. He took his usual route home on a country road which was well known to have stray cows and horses roaming around. So he drove very slowly. It was very dark and the area was very unpopulated. All of a sudden, a thick fog rolled in, which he wasn't bothered by since he's dealt with it before. He just continued to drive more cautiously and slowly. Out of nowhere, he heard the sounds of hooves on a paved road by the driver's side of the car. Looking over to see what it was, at first he thought it was a midget or a child running by the side of his car. He got a better look and stared right into the completely black eyes of a being with a large head. Its skin was pale white, nose was flat, mouth was a slit, and about 4 feet tall, wearing a one-piece suit. The last thing Maury would ever think about is an alien being since he was a man of faith. He was shook and then went for the gas and actually hit the brakes instead. The being was right at his door with another one with it. He passed out and woke up at a place that he described as a very bright and well-lit parking garage with other cars around him. There were no doors, no windows. The being was outside of his car on the left side and reached out to touch his head, and Maury passed out again. He woke up and found himself in another room with 14 other people. Then the two small beings were with a man whom he said was dressed in all black with brown skin, standing at around 5'7". Speaking in perfect Spanish, the man claimed to be a human from a different planet. The man in black went on to show holographic projections of how the world would be struck by an asteroid, leading to a post-apocalyptic era that would begin a new world order ran by one government. After showing the projections to 14 people, the man touched everyone on their heads, and Maury woke up in his car during the day in a different area of the island. He was confused and emotional. He couldn't stop crying. He knew that he was on a dirt road before, but now he was on a paved road. He then heard some military jets flying around above him. Looking up, he saw a craft that was not making a single noise. two F-14 Tomcats were making their way over. Maury then took out his cousin's camera from the night before, looking through it to find the disc, and snapped a couple pictures. The disc then tilted at a 45-degree angle and shot up right into the sky while the Tomcats took off in frustration. Maury's life has never been the same ever since. His grandma's house got flipped inside out by the government when they raided Maury looking for negatives of the photos. What they didn't know was that Maury stuck the photos in the doghouse under the roof. Apparently NASA examined the photos and said that they were real, but I couldn't find anything to credit that. For doing some research on my own, it seems like people are split straight down the middle as to if this was real or a hoax. When doing research, I actually found out that an asteroid is supposed to fly by Earth pretty closely on April 29th. There's some other questions that I have. In the past 30 years, why hasn't any of the other abductees came forward at all? Where are the other photos that Maury took? In an interview, why isn't he making direct eye contact? A couple things to keep in mind. Tomcats were known to travel to Puerto Rico and back in 1988. Family members do back up claims that the FBI did in fact raid him. And apparently, to body language experts, the movement of his eyes indicate memory recalling. Take a look at this interview and let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. And don't forget to like and subscribe.
My name is Amaury Rivera. I live in Puerto Rico. And back in 1988, I was working in a nightclub. And there was a musical group there. One of my cousins wanted me to photograph the musical group. She loaned me a camera with some film. On my way back home, I encountered two small beings, two small strange men, which I didn't think were men from outer space. And they took me somewhere where there were other people besides myself, other human people, like from Puerto Rico, I guess. From here, another human being showed up. He claimed to be from a distant planet. He was dressed in black. He had dark skin, but he was not a Negro. He had long black hair up to the shoulders. And he spoke to us with the mouth, verbally, and no telepathic speaking. He showed us various projections, which looked very real projections, and he informed us about a whole bunch of things that are even still incredible to me. Then they returned me to...
What did this holographic projection show?
The holographs were mainly, the first one that I can remember was like a short trip through space. We saw where he came from, where he said to be from. We saw his people. We saw the houses that they used. And the second one was about a meteor or rock falling to Earth in the near future, which is going to cause a lot of havoc in the world. This would fall. It's going to fall in very near the Caribbean, Puerto Rico, and those other small islands. But it's going to affect the whole world, not just Puerto Rico. The last one is that they projected was showing us how there was only going to be one government on the planet Earth. They'll be living on some sort of artificial island that's going to be floating in the middle of a dark, black, dirty sea. Then this man returned me to my car again and left me somewhere different from where the whole ordeal had started. Apparently, they took me with car and all. After this, at this given time, I heard some jets in the sky, and I still had my cousin's camera, and I took the pictures, 4 of which I'm making public.
So the jets followed the UFO?
Yes, it was. They seemed to be surveilling it. I only got to capture just one of the jets in the photograph, but there were 3 of them. Or maybe I got in one of the photos one, and in the second or third I got one of the other ones, because they would go around it very far away, and while this one was closer, and turn, very far, very far. And by the time this one was coming back, another one was turning over there. There was always one or the other close to the object, to the UFO.
Jurgen Martin has carefully investigated this case.
Rivera's case is, to me, is a very special one and a very important one, because in Maury's case, he was abducted and he was taken away by aliens. One of them was human-like, and 2 small creatures that they explained to him were some type of genetical or biological organic android that they made to do some chores outside so they don't have to risk themselves in our environment. That's what they explained to him, the so-called human alien that he saw in the craft. And it's important also because of the evidences that he has on the case, because when he was released, he had the camera with him, and he was able to take pictures of the object that apparently had abducted him, the craft, flying saucer type, and also some jet fighters from the United States, excuse me, F-14 again. In most of these cases in the island, F-14s are involved with these situations of chasing and harassment and checking on these objects when they are seen in the different areas of the island. And he was able to get them in those pictures together. So this clearly, when you see those photographs, it's obvious that the government has been lying for many years, because there's the UFO there, and there's also the jet fighters dealing with the situation, which they denied for more than 40 years. It's there.
Were you able to locate any other witnesses?
That's what I was going to explain at this moment, Michael. The Amori's case is also very important, because I have several people who apparently had been contacted by the same alien that abducted Amori and the small ones that were with him in a separate fashion. They have nothing to do with Amori's incident. This being, this human-like alien, is contacting people all around the area of the southwest of Puerto Rico. I have people from the town of Yauco who seem to have been contacted by this man. I have this fisherman, Andres Maldonado, who I got in contact with Amori, because he told me several things Amori had told no one before, only I knew them, about the name of the alien and all the details that he was using to check on the people who really may have been in contact with the same being the night he was abducted, because there were about 14 other people there in the craft that night. And when Maldonado told me all this information that he couldn't know because he was not involved with Amori's case, I got them together. And at this moment I have about 3 different people who seem to have been in contact with the same alien. So they are doing something, and they are getting in contact with more and more people and preparing people for something. And this is very important, because all this corroborates Amori's incident also.